Good evening, folks. Well, it's my weekly blog, and this week's topic is going to be or your diet and cheat days, what to look for, what to do in your diet. I mean, are cheat days really necessary? And or these are questions that I know I've asked myself at least 100 times, and then other people have tried to ask me the same question. Well, like, do I really have to cheat while I'm on this diet, or do I have to use a certain solid diet? Well, the truth is, there is no 100% definite answer. Because, to be honest, a diet that works for person A might not work for person B. What works for person B might not work for person C. I mean, all looking up a diet online or getting a diet plan like that comes with the P90X, Insanity, Power 90, or the Fighter diets, or any of those, like, they are based on one person's take on what works for them. You can use that largely as a base to get started on your main diet, or to find out what works for you. But truth is, until you start with something and start tweaking it, you're never going to find out what's working for you exactly. Well, for this topic, I actually took a good number of notes on what I read up based on my personal experiences and what other people have found to be effective. And some of what I'm going to talk about in this vlog, I'm actually going to be trying myself very soon to see if it works for me. But it may very well work for you, or it may not. The only way you're going to know is if you try. Well, first, I want to talk about the cheat day itself. Now, some people say it's necessary, other people say it's not, and a couple of the people I talk to say it's scientifically proven it is absolutely necessary. Personally, I don't think it's absolutely necessary physically, but I will gladly admit it is very helpful. And simply for the fact that when you're trying to diet down, you're pretty strict on your diet, and you're not allowing yourself any or sweets or chocolate and chips or like cheeseburgers or something like that. Whatever food you really like, you're not letting yourself have because it's really unhealthy. Or psychologically, it is beneficial to have that one day set aside where you can have a cheat meal, or just have the whole day as a cheat day, depending on what your goals are. So, or it could be once every couple of weeks, or it could be once a month, whatever works for you. But psychologically, it's beneficial because it's a way to control your cravings that you get for this stuff, or without letting it get out of control. Instead of going, or say, for instance, 5 weeks without even thinking about the stuff, and all of a sudden you get a craving for it, you binge out on it, and you just destroy all the progress you made. As where if you just do it or once a week or once every couple of weeks, you're aware of the craving, you get a small dose of it that's controlled, and you can easily bounce back from more than just say a day or a full day of binging on nothing but cheeseburgers, bacon, and pork. But for some people, doing it once every couple of weeks or once a month will work. Other people will need a cheat day for every week. Personally, I set aside either a Saturday or a Sunday to where I can eat those foods if I so desire. But during the week, they are a no-go unless it's a social function, and that one cheat item just happens to be the healthiest item I can get, or say at an Applebee's. Not saying I eat there every day. It's only occasionally. Or not saying I use my cheat days every weekend, but I have that option there. Same, and physiologically, or it can be helpful too, or based simply on the fact that normally cheat days are your higher calorie days. And for some people that say if their exercise calories back 2 days a week, tend to have lost more weight. Other people, or it might not be so easy, they might gain weight that day but lose or twice what they gain back, which put them right back on track. So for some people it'll work, some people it won't. So, but for even on the cheat days, you still have to have proper portions. Because if you eat, say, 3 cheeseburgers, or the average cheeseburger is at least 500 calories just for the burger itself. That's not counting the tomato and the onion, the bun itself. That's just the burger is 500 And if you eat 3 of them, well, that's easily your entire day's worth of calories, or nearly, depending on how or what your calorie number is. See, that could easily ruin a diet. Well, okay, now you've heard my take on cheat days. Now let's get into different dieting styles or different styles of eating. So some people say or carb up in the mornings or have the keto diet, which is basically next to nil carbs. I mean, there's many different styles. There's so many different ways to go about getting to the same thing. I can't possibly cover them all. So, but recently I've kind of looked into the concept of what Pauline Norton does with the fighter diet, and what I've read there, it looks pretty solid for what she's going for, which is being extremely lean and still maintaining her muscle mass where she is full enough. Now, I haven't actually read the full ebook. I just read the comments she's made, basically a hint or the basic concept of her diet, where she carbs up only once in a while, basically, or when, according to several of her posts, when the body temperature drops, wherein she's not feeling as energetic in the gym, or she does a review where she basically has like a high carb day, and she carb depletes, or basically between that and the next refeed, or however many days that will be. So that's one way to use carbs for good, because carbs aren't bad, or it's just how they're being used isn't necessarily the best way to use them, and they're given a bad rap because of that. Well, another way, what I've been unintentionally doing, but I found if I've been unintentionally doing it naturally, it's working for me, because I've dropped over 55 pounds now as of this morning. Well, so what I've been doing is carbing up in the morning, putting most of my good carbs in the morning, and slowly dropping them off as the day goes. Like for breakfast, or high carb. First snack, high carb, high fiber. I'm going to try to be high protein for the first 3 meals. Then your last 3, which is your mid-afternoon snack or dinner, and your pre-bedtime or post-workout snack, depending on when you work out. Or have those high protein and very low carb. Now for me, that works because I still get the energy I need, but at the same time I'm also getting my protein, giving my body what it needs. And when it comes to the diet, you still have to eat between 5 to 7 times a day. Or that's pretty much every type of diet I've seen out there, or that's been effective in the fitness community. It is 5 to 7 meals a day. I personally try to go with 6, sometimes go with 7 if I need to get extra calories for the day. But 6 works for me. That's what I've been sticking with. That's what I've been working with. It's worked for me. Can't say it might work for you, but it does for me, and I will recommend it to anyone who's just getting started. And the next note on the diet is you've got to have veggies. Or veggies are a good protein source, they're a good fiber source, and they're a good carb source, depending on the veggie. But those are a must-have in any diet that you go with. Yes, you have all the lean meats in the world, like 97.3 lean turkey, 96.4 lean beef, or lean chicken. You can have all that in the world for a protein source, but if you ain't got veggies to go with it, it's just going to be extra calories. The same thing as eating a burger that's deep fried. Well, of course, the turkey and the chicken's healthier, but it's still going to have a similar effect. It's not really going to benefit you if you don't have the veggies to go with it. And assuming that you got the appropriate amount of veggies, you got the appropriate amount of natural proteins, or nuts, or lean meats, assuming it's all in proportion, if you're not eating or with appropriate timing between meals, you're not going to get the benefit of it either. You need to have about 2 to 3 hours is what I try to shoot for between my meals. But no less than 2, no more than 3. But the reason for this is after about, let's say, if I remember the article right, about 2 hours or so, metabolism begins to slow down again. And it needs to basically be refueled, saying, oh, I got new fuel, I need to speed back up and process this. And that keeps your metabolism going, which turns you into a fat-burning machine. And after 3 hours, it completely stops. But I know there's some occasions where you simply can't avoid having more than a couple or more than 3 hours between the meals. I understand this; it happens to me occasionally myself. But in cases like that, you can keep a small snack with you, like a handful of almonds, or an apple, or a banana, or something light. Where at that point, where you just go ahead, throw it down the hatch, or it revs up your metabolism a little bit, keeps it going, though it's still pretty slow at that point. It still keeps it going. So you don't want it to get down so low to where it's like you're tired right after your next meal because it's got to burn so much energy to get that meal processed. That defeats the purpose of dieting and actually timing your meals. And this is an example breakfast that you might want to go with. Not breakfast, but an example meal plan you might want to go with. And for breakfast, for high carbohydrates, and a whey protein shake, or some lean breakfast meat. That for your first snack or your post-workout snack, depending on how you look at it. So obviously high carbohydrates or high fiber, like something like an apple. An apple isn't necessarily high carb, but it is high fiber, and you always get a high carb or carb item to go with it. Then lunch, high carb, high protein. And your mid-afternoon snack or your post-workout snack, depending on when you work out, or high protein and high in omega fatty acids, like your omega-3, 6, 9s, which can include salmon or walnuts. Granted, the fish oil is considered far better, but if you can't get more fish or for some reason you're allergic to it, walnuts will give you a very similar type of oil that just can't be processed quite as easy as fish oil. So, but I can cover all for that and a bunch of other conceptions about dieting and supplements and vitamins in another blog. Alright, dinner again are high with omega fatty acids and high protein. And then before bed, I always have a casein protein shake, which it's the same type of protein you can get in cream cheese. I personally don't like cream cheese, so I go directly to the casein shake. It tastes a lot better to me. I use Gold Standard or casein protein with a blueberry flavor. So I like it. It works for me. Can't say it'll work for you because some people like chocolate. I don't like the chocolate flavor. And of course, any of these meals you are adding a Shakeology. And Shakeology is basically fits the bill for any meal during the day. They call it the healthiest meal of the day for a reason. If you look at the nutrition blog, it'll cover any one of these items it needs. Well, then, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, or you want to make a special request for a blogging topic, just leave it in the comment thread below or personal message me, and I'll definitely be taking a look at it. Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.